Welcome back, everyone. John Cope here from Cope Racing Transmissions, and we're going to talk a little bit about Lockup 904s and 727, but this one's going to be mostly about the 904. And I'm going to try and convince you guys not to throw away or scrap your 904 Lockup transmissions, because they actually are a better transmission to use as a core for doing performance racing and street transmissions. And I'm going to show you why. So here I have a 904 that I'm doing right now, and I'm going to go over a couple pieces. Your Lockup transmissions that came out in 78 and later, a lot of your early 80s Diplomats and Power Wagons and Ram Chargers, a lot of them had 904 lockups. And the way you can tell is simply by looking at the input shaft. This one right here is a non-lockup 904. This one's a lockup. So when you're looking for cores, if you got some cores in your garage or whatever, this machine surface indicates that the transmission's a lockup. And I'm going to tell you why I feel the lockups are better than the non-lockups, and for good reason. So let's go over that. The first thing that is in the 80s 904s, they come with steel planetaries instead of aluminum planetaries. And the steel planetaries, they're stronger, and especially if you're using a reverse manual or a trans brake, you don't have to change these. These splines in aluminum planetary can strip out rather easy on a trans brake. So the first benefit is having steel planetaries. Benefit number one. Benefit number two is the front drum was redesigned almost like they did to the Hemi transmissions of the 727s. And they made the front clutch hold 5 clutches instead of 4. So this is your basic 72 and up non-lockup front drum. This is your probably late 70s and up lockup. And the difference is you can see the snap ring height is the same, but what they did is they made the drum deeper on the inside. And the reason why you can tell is this is what we call a flat drum. This is a bevel drum. The bevel drum allows you to put more clutches in there. So this drum came with 5 clutches from the factory. This drum came with 4. And with each drum difference, you have different pistons. So see how this one's flat to fit the flat drum. This one's beveled to fit the bevel drum. So when you're doing 904s, make sure you don't swap these things. So you take this 904 5-disc front drum with, that is beveled. What I do is I take, instead of running 5 thick clutches, I run 6 thin clutches. So now this front drum just become a 6 clutch instead of a 5. That's almost as much holding power as a 727, but without all the heavy rotating weight. So that's how you can tell the difference between the 5 clutch and the 4 clutch. And in order for the 5 clutch to work, they had to change the drum. If you notice the height right here and the height right here, this only will take 4 clutches. This takes 5. 5 thick clutches or 5 thick clutches or 6 thin clutches. So this is taller, the drum is different, and then the pump is different. For that bevel drum to fit on the pump, Chrysler beveled the pump. So you'll see this pump is flat. This pump is beveled. This allows you to use the 5 clutch disc front drum. This uses the 4. So when you're looking for a trainee to start to do a build, no matter what it's for, if you can find a 904 lockup that has that shaft, you're going to get all these pieces that I just pointed out to you. The steel planetaries, the 5-disc front drum, the taller drum to accept the 5 clutches, and then the beveled pump. They'll all be in there. So actually, if you're going to do a lockup like this one right now, is going to be a reverse manual lockup transmission. I have the lockup wire that's going to come out right through it right there, and we will use this lockup. But if you wanted to do this transmission and not use lockup, you can actually take this shaft and everything that I just showed you, use the transmission, and purchase what's called a dummy lockup. A dummy lockup is a lockup torque converter with no clutch. So it'll fit into the transmission, everything, all the splines and everything will connect, but there'll be no clutch. So you can use a lockup transmission and not have the lockup work. Or in this case, I'm gonna use the lockup because this has my reverse manual valve body, and you can activate the lockup in any gear, first, second, and third. I don't recommend that you use it under full power during a pass and activate it, but you could turn it on, then go full power. It's more for cruising, getting some fuel economy, lowering the transmission temperatures. And when you go from in this valve body, or any lockup valve body, from non-lockup to lockup, you're going to your max stall. So let's say you got 11-inch 3000 stall. Once you turn a lockup on, the stall speed is 0. There's no stall, and you only need to stall to get the car out of the gate, and that's about it. Another thing is, all these Chrysler transmissions, this is a factory Chrysler return spring for the front drum. And I say they, I mean Chrysler, wound this spring in the opposite direction. This is my new spring. If you notice, it's wound. Let's see if I can get in there for you. The opposite way. What happens with the Chrysler spring, when it's in first gear and you're winding it up past 5,000 RPMs, this spring could unwind inside the drum, and the front clutches can actually start touching each other instead of, and then they'll create hot spots instead of it staying off. This will correct that problem. Or even better is our multi-spring pack. This also corrects the problem of the coil unbinding. It also will fix any overlap issues you have going in high gear. And this is almost mandatory when you're running a trans brake or reverse manual, especially a trans brake. So that's my little tip on 904s. Steel planetary, 5 clutches, better tranny. Stronger tranny could hold more horsepower without spending any money. Good tip. So don't throw away your 904 lockup transmissions. Use them. Got any more questions? You can get a hold of us through our website at culpracingtrans.com. Don't forget to go out and vote. See you later.